Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. What we're going to look at in this video is we're going to compare the GrandStream UCM product, which is a PBX, against the UniFi Talk PBX. So I've got this spreadsheet that and I can give people access to it, read-only access if they want to see it. Some of this information I had a difficult time finding. I did reach out to both vendors for clarification. So I want to start by saying, when you buy a PBX, it's your money. You spend that money, you do what you want to do. Obviously, for us, GrandStream is the primary PBX that we are always going to recommend, just because it fits so many scenarios. It scales very well, and when we configure it, we have little to no problems, right? So we're officially trained. In fact, I'm a GrandStream certified trainer, so we understand how to configure the product so that there's little to no issue. Most of the times we see the problem with the SIP provider, with customer network, things like that. On the UniFi Talk side of the house, while we don't push Talk as an option, really, we do support it when people have already used it and then they're having problems or they want to get it set up or whatever. We will support it, and you're going to see some of the differences between the product here, and hopefully we're and I've spent like a couple, I don't know, at least I think almost 2 weeks with this list. And so some places you'll see NA, some places will just be blank. But let's get into it here and take a look. So this is my GrandStream UCM versus UniFi Talk. And some of this I will explain. So over here on the left-hand side, we have features, and then I have another sheet with further features. These are kind of the high-level, like, quick info ones. We've got GrandStream UCM here, UniFi Talk here. So let's get to it. So the underlying technology under a GrandStream UCM is Asterisk. With UniFi Talk, it is FreeSwitch. The platform that you're going to be purchasing with a GrandStream UCM, you're either going to buy an actual GrandStream UCM appliance, which you can get them as low as $189, so USDs. You can spend up to, a few $1,000s just for the PBX, depending on how you're designing it. If you're doing HA or if you're doing clustering or things like that, the cost is going to go up just a little bit. But you can do high availability with the you can do high availability even with that $189 PBX. So you would have two of them, and you could do HA between them. On the UniFi Talk side of the house, so anything that runs UniFi OS and supports UniFi Talk, you're going to be able to run it on there. So you got your Cloud Key Gen 2, you've got your UDR, I think the Gateway Max Pro, obviously your Dreamwall, all of your UDM Pro, SE, and Max is going to be able to run it. The SIP providers for GrandStream, you can use any SIP provider that's out there. With UniFi Talk, you can do a manual setup, but it works best with UniFi because you lose features of the PBX if you don't use UniFi SIP lines, which I think start out at either $9.99 or $10.99 a month. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. So the SIP cost for GrandStream varies. We recommend Telnex. So you're at $1 a DID. If you're in the States, you're at $1.50 for the E911. And then you're at, we usually tell people a half a cent per minute. It's actually can be lower than that. And if you're calling other Telnex customers, the call's free. So, and there's no restrictions on how many calls you make with that. Then on UniFi Talk, you have two plans. You have the $10.99, and then I think the other one's $24.99 per line. And depending on which of those you get, you can have different features on the PBX. And then if you do, and I know people who we've set this up for are probably saying, no, you can set up third-party SIP, you can. So you could plug Telnex into UniFi Talk, but you lose a lot of the UniFi Talk functionality when you do that. And if you buy a service-locked UniFi phone, because it's cheaper, the hardware is cheaper, then you have to use the UniFi Talk SIP service. All right, so if you've got a T1, E1, J1, or a PRI, does the system support it? Grandstream UCM, Grandstream ecosystem does support it. UniFi Talk does not. If you have POTS lines coming in for your service, the UniFi system does not have an interface for that, but the Grandstream ecosystem does. Let's talk about handsets. So which handsets can you use with a Grandstream UCM? You can use any SIP phone except for the UniFi Talk phones, unless you install a soft phone application on them. But out of the box, they are only going to work with UniFi Talk. And with UniFi Talk, you're not going to be able to use any handsets with any real support or success except for UniFi Talk phones. So, and there was a question that you can see up here on the SIP providers. We don't know if we can get to the FreeSwitch comp files anymore. And if we do change those under the hood, upon a reprovision or a reboot, what happens to those? We don't know. So ATAs, or analog telephone adapters, for the UCM ecosystem, you can use any of them but the UniFi. And with UniFi Talk, you can only use the UniFi ATA. Now, when we talk about gateways, this is, your PRI gateway, or if you need the larger gateways that you can plug Amphenol connectors in to and things like that, you can use any SIP gateway with the Grandstream ecosystem. UniFi Talk does not support gateways. When we talk about scalability with UniFi Talk, I don't know. I need somebody to tell me, because I sent this list over to Ubiquiti and HA was not on the list. So I don't know if Talk works in shadow mode or not. Can somebody let me know down in the comments? So that would be the question of that. And I was surprised that they didn't answer that part of it. But as far as the scalability goes, with Grandstream, you can do high availability or you can do clusters. So if you're going to have a lot of phones, you can use the appliances to actually, have one of them just do voicemail. You can have one of them just take care of handling the inbound, outbound calls. So you can cluster it, use the resources of those servers to split it up, kind of split the load, so to speak, over multiple devices. And here you can see high availability, yes, with Grandstream. UniFi Talk is an unknown. So if somebody knows, put that down in the comments, please. Third-party SIP devices, speakers, cameras, all but UniFi work with the Grandstream UCM. And the UniFi Talk, you can only use UniFi products. So it does integrate with their cameras. And at one point, I thought they had some sort of a speaker device, but I don't know where that went. Can you integrate with an access control system? With the Grandstream UCM, works with most but UniFi. And with UniFi Talk, it is UniFi only. Now, I'm not saying, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that these are bad things on either side of the coin, but you have to choose what ecosystem you want to be in. Because if you're UniFi Talk and you want to get the most out of it, as you can see, you're going to want to stick with the UniFi platform. With Grandstream, we can mix and match, use different vendors, but you can't do that really with UniFi Talk. No one has really been successful at doing it, and even if you did, an update could come along. I mean, Ubiquiti spent a lot of time, tuning this to try to make it as easy as possible. So with the Grandstream UCM, there is an open API that we have access to that is not available as far as I know with Talk. If that is wrong, let me know down in the comments. Both platforms support E911. Both platforms support remote phones and remote workers. Both systems have their own branded smartphone apps. So smartphone, soft phones, and we'll get into the soft phone thing below and kind of break that out. SMS. So SMS is coming soon to the UCMs. Does not work currently, except for notifications to administrators for certain things. But UniFi Talk, after completing the A2P 10DLC verification process, which basically verifies your business, you're not a spammer, you're someone legitimate, you can use SMS from the UniFi Talk system. Manufacturer support, Grandstream does provide a support channel. What I don't know, so I know you can turn in tickets, but I don't know what the level of the UniFi Talk support is. Obviously, there's community support just like there is with both, but I think I don't know if the paid support that they have covers talk or not. If somebody knows, please let me know down in the comments. Authorized partner support. So there is authorized training and partner support with Grandstream and with UniFi Talk. Although with UniFi, it's not really an authorized partner and there's no certification yet. But we are certified Grandstream professionals, experts, and trainers. With Grandstream UCM, you can do things like peer trunking to do least cost routing and things like that as your organization scales. So what is least cost routing? It means if I know if let's say I've got a VPN set up between my UCMs and I've got a UCM in Illinois and a UCM in California and I'm not using Telnex, I'm still locked into PRIs or whatever it is, and I get a per minute charge, but I know it's cheaper to call in California from California. I can actually route any calls coming from Illinois that need to go to California can actually be routed out through California. So you can build out your own network and do that. We're not sure if the peer trunks with the SIP trunk configuration that is available, we're not sure if it works successfully. There's a lot of moving pieces to making peer trunks work. And so we put a maybe here because we just don't know. And I don't want to just peer between UniFi Talk systems. I want to peer between any SIP compliant system. Multicast paging. So if you've got school bell systems or other large multicast paging setups, Grandstream supports that. UniFi Talk does not support that. Must have phones to set up the PBX. With Grandstream, that's a nope. And with UniFi Talk, it is. You can't set the application up without having one of the phones or one of their devices. So as far as soft phone support goes with Grandstream UCM, any standard SIP software on any operating system will be able to connect to the Grandstream system. Directly from Ubiquiti, the soft phones that are supported for UniFi Talk are Android and iOS soft phone with Identity Endpoint mobile app. Do you have different levels of phones? So locked and unlocked phones. With Grandstream, the phones are never locked. You own them. You can buy them at different price levels. I mean, there are VoIP phones for as cheap as $15 to $20 and as expensive as $1,000. With UniFi Talk, those locked phones are cheaper because you have to purchase service, the monthly service, to use the locked phones. The unlocked phones are more expensive because you're not making that commitment. But for the system to work properly, then you still have to be able to configure SIP and phone numbers and things like that. With both of the systems, you can stream security cameras to the phones. With both systems, you can port numbers in and out for free. Porting numbers out is free with the way we do it in Grandstream, but I'm not 100% sure about the outport on UniFi Talk. They do talk about it being free to port it in, and they have somebody to help you with that. But porting out, I didn't see anything. And there is paperwork you have to be able to port numbers away from your provider. And just know that the losing carrier, so if you were going to port out a UniFi Talk /Twilio would be the losing carrier. So it's up to them to be able to actually release the numbers. This is a big one right here. So on UniFi Talk phones, you still cannot replace the handset cord easily. It is still, you have to take the phone apart. With all other phones that we use, whether they're Grandstream or Yealink or Flying Voice, name of everybody else pretty much has replaceable handset cords, and that is the number one thing that we have to do maintenance on the phones is replace those handset cords. For conference phones, with Grandstream, you have lots of options. With Ubiquiti, I thought there was a phone out there at one time, a conference phone, but there is not one there now. Ongoing licensing with Grandstream, there is none required unless you are using more than the free Remote Connect plan, right? So they do have a free Remote Connect plan where you can have 2 simultaneous calls that can last, I think it's 10 or 20 minutes if you're not paying for the Remote Connect plan, and then they cut you off. You can pay more than that. I think it starts at $129 a year, $159 a year for a lot more options and things like that. But you don't have to have ongoing licensing. And with UniFi Talk, there is no licensing, but you do have, if you're going to stay completely with their ecosystem, you will have to have at least one $10 DID per month. That's if you're going to use it as they intend. They do support the third-party SIP, but it is not, like I said, you lose access to features, which we're going to get into, and it's not always easy to keep it running. Okay, so here is our second list, and we're going to run through this hopefully a little bit quicker because there's like 98 of these. So view active calls, both systems can do that. Different call permissions, as far as I know. You can't do that in UniFi Talk, but with the Grandstream system, you can set different permissions for different phones, and you can even stop phones from talking to each other. Concurrent registrations of extensions. With the UCM system, you can have each phone registered up, or each extension registered to 10 different endpoints. With UniFi Talk, we think it's 1, but not 100% sure. So if you've got your endpoint or your extension on more than one endpoint, let me know down in the comments. Codec selection, we can change codecs on trunks and handsets. You can do that with UCM. You cannot do that with UniFi Talk. The UCM and the Grandstream ecosystem supports QoS. UniFi Talk does not. There's not a real QoS mechanism. I know that Ubiquiti uses QoS in their information, and I guess if you really want to extrapolate out what a quality of service would be, they could shoehorn their definition in there. But as far as actual QoS, either looking at OID or VLAN based, or even looking for just DSCP markings, Grandstream's going to do that. UniFi Talk is not going to do that. Encrypted phone calls with SRTP, the UCM and all the Grandstream products handle that. I could not find anything that told me whether UniFi Talk calls are encrypted. If you know that, let me know down in the comments. Presence status, this is wrong right here. This is web UI and contact list on phone. So with the presence status, we can do it with buttons right on most other manufacturers' phones. And those phones work with the UCM platform. And you can also do it in the web UI of the UCM. With UniFi Talk, you can do it in the web UI, or if you go into your contact list on the phone, you can see presence status. Both support Do Not Disturb. The UCM has a Do Not Disturb whitelist, where if you're on that whitelist, you can break the Do Not Disturb. I did not see that in UniFi Talk. You can have Do Not Disturb time conditions. I didn't see that specifically on Talk. They have time conditions for IVRs and things like that, but I didn't see it for Do Not Disturb. Call duration limits we can set with the UCM. I did not see that in Talk. Ring simultaneous, so where we can ring multiple different devices, or do like a follow me, which I have this in here as well. But ring simultaneous we can do with UniFi Talk. We might be able to do that with, if we're using the identity app. So I'm going to put that in there. If anybody knows, let me know. Custom ring timeout for sure is on both systems. Call recording is on both systems. Dial trunk password is available on the UCM, not available on UniFi Talk. Hot desking, where you can log in and out of phones at will. I'm touching my UniFi Talk phone, and it doesn't look like you can do that. You can do that with the GrandStream UCM system, where you can hot desk and you can move your extension around. You cannot do that with Talk. Both systems support custom ringback tones, custom ringtones, custom music on hold. They support call waiting. The GrandStream UCM system supports the share called appearance, and the UniFi Talk does not. They both have local voicemail capabilities. Only the UCM system can do remote voicemail, where we use another service or another UCM for voicemail. Both of these support voicemail to email. So this is, I got to fix this, right? So email call transcription. So right now, the UCM platform does not have like call transcription where it'll take the audio and break it down into text. It has voicemail to email, but the UniFi Talk does have email and call transcription. That is one of those features, though, that you have to pay for the UniFi Talk service, and then they only give you so many transcription minutes per month. So you just have to read the details. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying understand what you're getting into. That's the whole point of this video. So call follow me, which is where you can have, if I don't answer this extension, ring this extension, so you can do those kinds of things. Fax to email. So the call follow me only works with the GrandStream UCM, but if you have the app, you can probably have that at the same time. Somebody let me know, because we've not deployed the enterprise identity at all. Fax to email works with the UCM series, does not work with UniFi Talk. Extension groups we can have on both systems. We talked a little bit about the VoIP trunks, so you can do full GUI setup. And if you're using third-party VoIP trunks, it's a manual setup without guidance. You have to know the free PBX or the free switch. You have to know everything, how to enter that information. There's some guides out there, but yeah. The UCM supports a web RTC trunks. UniFi Talk does not. We can control completely our outbound routes with the UCM system, and we cannot with UniFi Talk. And I'm talking about getting down to like the DoD level, where I can change caller ID on a phone based on where it's routing out and where I want to route extensions. You don't have that control in UniFi Talk. Complete inbound route setup. So yes, you can select an IVR in UniFi Talk, or whether it goes to an extension or things like that, but you don't have complete control of the inbound route down to the caller ID level. With an inbound route on a UCM system, I can say, if this caller ID is calling, reroute it to an external number, right? So if I saw your phone number calling, I could reroute it to Disney Resorts helpline, just as a joke. You can't do any of those advanced call routing features with UniFi Talk. Both systems support video calls. The UCM platform does actually do group video call meetings and scheduling, which is different than just a video call, one-to-one versus a meeting. UniFi Talk does not handle that. GrandStream UCM, you can do actual audio meetings where you schedule them, you host them. You cannot do that with UniFi Talk. You can record the meetings with the UCM. All right, both systems support IVRs. Both systems support ring groups. Only the UCM has restrict calls set up, paging and intercom. Now you can do some paging and intercom. So this is like sort of, right? So like you can do some paging and intercom with UniFi Talk, but when we're talking about paging and intercom, we're talking about that full experience where we've got dedicated devices. We've got, maybe it's going off on a timer. We've got pre-recorded messages that are going out. You can do that with the GrandStream. You can only do like an inner office page with UniFi Talk. This is another one where I want to be fair and put like sort of there. So for an operator panel with GrandStream, you can go in, you can see all the calls. You can set different permissions on different modules so that different admins don't get all of the options of the PBX. With the operator panel with UniFi Talk, you have to be invited to the console and have access to the console. So there is an operator panel. I'm going to give that. Yeah, there is an operator panel, but you have to be invited and things like that. Both of those setups, you need to make sure you set your permissions correctly. GrandStream UCM supports call queues, queue groups. So for like call centers and things like that, or even not call centers. I know some places that use call queues that just have front desk staff and then other people can hop in if needed. Talk does not support that. Both support pickup groups. Both support speed dialings. DISA, which is where I can have somebody call into the system, hit an access code, get dial tone, and call back out using my service and my caller ID. GrandStream supports that. UniFi Talk does not. The GrandStream ecosystem supports callback. So if you've got queues and things set up and people want to get a call back, you can do that automatically once it's set up with the UCM. Talk does not support that. Both systems support blind transfers and attended transfers. The UCM platform supports seamless transfers. Call Park, I think, is actually supported on both, where you can have a parking lot and then people pick up the calls. Record on demand, so you're recording calls. Do not disturb is available on both. Call forwarding is available on both. Call barging, I know for sure, and you need to check the legality of that in your area before you use it. I know it's available on the UCM system. The Talk platform, I got no clue. I didn't see it. Blacklist caller phone numbers. So if you want to keep a block list or a blacklist of caller ID numbers that are not allowed to call you, you can do that at the phone or the UCM, and you can do that at the UniFi console with UniFi Talk. All right, we're getting to the end here. So the UCM these next features only the UCM support, so emergency call notifications. So if someone calls a number that we defined as an emergency number, somebody gets a recording of the call and they get a call notification. Scheduled calls, announcements that share call appearance. Like I said, we pulled some of these out, and I had somebody else looking at the list, so one of these might be copied. Instant messaging. You can do with the UCM. You cannot do that with Talk. You can embed a live chat feature on your website that goes through the UCM. You cannot do that on UniFi Talk. Message broadcasting, those instant messages to every phone. You can't do that yet. Both systems support global caller ID. Both systems support custom voice prompts. Only the UCM platform supports a file manager for cleaning those files up, USB storage, SD card storage, NAS storage, fail to ban for security. The UCM can be integrated with Active Directory or an LDAP server for phone books. You can't do that with the Talk system. Custom time settings outside of your NVR are not available on UniFi Talk, but we have full access on the UCM platform to do whatever we want with time, any kind of time-based conditions. SNMP is available for UCM devices, not available for Talk as far as I know. If that's wrong, let me know. So custom contacts are available on both systems. All right, so here we go. So auto device provisioning. So this is one where they both are only for their ecosystem. Now, I'm sure there are ways to shoehorn it with the UCM. I'm not into shoehorning things if I don't have to. So we always tell you that we'll use any VoIP phone you want with a UCM, but if you want zero config, you've got to use GrandStream devices for now, and they do that because they don't want to upset the partners that they work with. And it's the same with UniFi Talk. If you want device auto provisioning, you have to use UniFi. With the GrandStream system, you can manage on-site meeting rooms. You cannot do that with UniFi Talk. Both systems have beautiful operation logs. So when we log in and we look at what administrators have been doing to the system, both of the systems do a very good job at doing that. Custom user security for logging into the portal. You can kind of do that here. So you're basically going to have like admin or read only, but we can do all types of custom user security on the GrandStream side. The UCM platform supports syslog. I didn't see anything for talk specifically in syslog. Once again, if any of these features I'm wrong on or we need more clarification, let me know down in the comments. We can back up and restore a single UCM system. We can also restore it to other devices. For talk right now, as of the filming of this video, you have to do a full UniFi OS backup. Troubleshooting tools in the UI with the UCM, you get a full stack: ping, traceroute, packet capture. You get nothing like that on talk. CDR, so that's the call records where we can see how calls land into the system, where they were routed. It's actually called CDR, and that's what most of the world calls it, is CDR. UniFi has it, but it's not called CDR, and it doesn't get as in-depth as other systems. Once again, they're trying to keep that simple. But CDR can be a very powerful tool in troubleshooting. Both systems can be managed from the cloud, and some of these other things like AMI access, CTI access, integrating with CRM such as Salesforce, ACT, Zoho. Only the UCM platform can do that. Property management system integration. So GrandStream actually has their own property management system for small properties that don't have a PMS, or you can integrate with a lot of different PMS systems. Qmetrics to get advanced reporting and things out of your call queues. Only the GrandStream supports that because it's the only one of the systems that supports call queues. We can do full Google integration with UCM, not with UniFi Talk. Full Teams integration. Now you can get notifications. So you can get some system notifications when you look through it on Teams and Slack. But we're talking about actual integrations, right? So we can integrate our PBX into these. We can integrate our PBX into Office 365 with GrandStream. GrandStream does provide a software development kit at no charge. UniFi does not. BLFs, which is the blind or the key on your phone that lights up different colors. So you can have phones that actually do that with the UCM system, and we talked about that before. But for one of my guys, that's a real sticking point, and for a lot of people, that's a real sticking point. And you can do presence status on the contacts page on the UniFi phones. Now, the UniFi phones do have a customization tool where you can change what everything looks like. And I haven't tried to put like contacts on the front page so I can see that presence status, that BLF status in real time. If anybody's done that, let me know down below. And then AI call transcripts. The GrandStream system does not support that. And with UniFi Talk, if you want the AI call transcripts and things like that, that's another one of those features that you have to use their monthly service to do that. So that's what you've got to just make yourself aware of, is that sometimes there's going to be services that you want where you're going to get locked into that UniFi monthly service. If I missed anything, if there's things you think we should talk about on this, let me know down in the comments. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links. If you need voice over IP, security, networking, any kind of consulting, reach on out at williehowe.com. Join the community at community.williehowe.com. And I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I'm hoping to straighten some of these things out, because I think there's a lot of confusion around what you can and can't do, and which solution you can use or should be using. And if you've still got questions with this, you can follow up with an email. You can hit the community. You can post a comment down below, and we'll help you walk through this. The best way to get actual consulting help, though, is don't try to do it through the comments here go to williehowe.com and fill out the contact form. So that's where we're at today. I'm Willie, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.